mentioned earlier, we're back to talk about my dark horse team for this year's IPL, Delhi Capitals. Uh, you know, you have those moments when you see, when you are sit through an auction and something, and you're like, how did they let them buy these players for this price? I had that for Delhi because they bought David Miller for base price. They bought, I think this guy Patum Nisanka pretty much for base price. They bought Ben Duckett for base price, and then they already like had like a great core of a team last year which should have finished in the top four, but somehow
Mm-hmm.
fell off. But with these additions, plus the upcoming star of Indian bowling, Akib Naib, I think Naib,
Azib
but
Naidar.
yeah, it is. I feel they have one of the most complete squads, other than, of course, your regular hitters of Punjab and your Mumbai, who've actually shown that they are a very pedigreed team. In terms of a team which is sort of upcoming, I feel they've assembled one of the best squads possible. Yeah, let's take your thoughts first, and then we'll go ahead with our next steps.
Yeah, absolutely. You sort of kicked this off very well. Rightly put, pretty well-rounded team. It is atrocious, as you rightly said, to know and see the fact that they have picked such great players at such like steal deal prices.
Yeah,
So, well-rounded team. The players that they had already had have gone on to be or become better players internationally for their teams. Especially Tursten Stubbs, I have really liked and enjoyed his sort of call it metamorphosis in a way
yeah,
that he's becoming a very stable, reliant finisher.
yeah,
He was a bit iffy all over the place until last year. So, or I should say, still finding his feet. Now, definitely seems to have those questions have settled down. Seems to be in great form. Middle order is definitely one place that Delhi needed solidifying last year and wasn't sure who to play that role. They have Thurston Stubbs now. They even traded Nitish Rana, which again I
yeah.
would say is a great pick for, you know, number three to middle order spot. So overall, they have plucked the holes, the deficiencies, the opportunities they've had. Pretty well-rounded team. May not put them in the same bucket as like a Mumbai Indians because they just have superstar players. But this team, consistently, I believe, far more consistent than what they did last year, can prove to be a thorn and a tough opponent to beat. Overall, when it comes to their day. So pretty solid shout when you say they are your dark horses.
Honestly, last year they had everything, pretty much the same ingredients, just a few spices added in. I think the bigger problem last year was that they were very unsure of where they wanted to play KL Rahul. They
Hmm.
kept moving him all
For
over the
sure. Yep.
place, and in that attempt, their opening top three kept changing pretty much every game, and that wasn't good for anybody. And especially, I felt with Faf Duplessis, it almost forced them to play him because they made him the captain. He wasn't, how do I say, not vice captain, sorry. He wasn't good enough to play in that team. So this year, the fact that they've kind of let him go and then brought in a certain David Miller, who's like a great finisher, that middle order player, which will enable KL Rahul to play up top. I feel they've plugged the different gaps in the teams. Yeah, I mean the one, how do I say, question mark that still will remain for this team, given Lungi Engidi's form, is going to be whether you play Engidi or whether you play one of Patum
Kyle
Nisanka or
Jamieson.
no, actually Patum Nisanka or Ben Duckett, because I feel like you're gonna have Mitchell Stark, Tristan Stubbs, and potentially Miller playing in this team for sure.
I
So
see. I
if you
see.
have these
But
three playing, then your question becomes whether you want to play a Lungi Ngidi as your fourth overseas, or do you want to go with your your Patum Nisanka or Bendakat as an opener, and then have an Indian pacer. The That is going to be. I mean, the worry for me is, given one of those positions is still the opening position, it shouldn't get back to that same roller coaster where they tried out 8, 10, 15, some obscene amount of openers. So But if you can get rid
Seven
of,
combinations, if I remember it
I
right.
know, right? You had what? KL Rahul, um, I think Jake Fraser McGurk at some point, and then
Yeah,
you
and
had
way too much. Like Faf, you had Faf at the
Faf,
beginning of
Abhishek Porel, Karun Nair,
Porel.
so many people, right?
They
So
they tried a lot. Yes,
yeah, so if they can find a solid combination in there, they have a brilliant team going forward. But if you honestly ask me, like what should the team combination be, I would rather not play Miller because Tristan Stubbs has shown himself, like he has, as you rightly
fair
put,
call.
right, he has become this reliable finisher. So I would actually pick just Tristan Stubbs in there and then have either a Ben Duckett or a Patum Nisanka to play. So it will be,
Yes,
I will probably start with Nisanka. So it will be Nisanka, uh, Tristan Stubbs, Mitchell Stark, and Lungi
um,
Ngeti. That will be my four. But yeah, I mean, it's a this is one team where I feel like having a problem of plenty is actually not good because then they end up shooting themselves in the foot. Yeah. If you have any thoughts.
No, I think you just to leave or pick it off from where you left. Problem of plenty, maybe a bit. They have a lot or many aspiring players, especially Indian players in the mix. To call one out specifically is Prithvi Shaw. You don't really know how where he fits. Overall, I think the problem is more so off the field for the management to make sure that all these players are kept in good spirits and sort of the camaraderie and the overall sort of, how do I say, the vibe of the team remains good throughout the tournament. You don't want any fall-offs there. I see a really very sort of budding and promising coach in Hemang Madani. Overall, his record of in all other premier T20 leagues around the world is pretty impressive. He's almost
You
won
seem
titles.
you seem to be going the route of giving coaches the limelight over the players, which is good.
It's also what they are able to do in sort of bringing the team together, right? So no, so yeah, fair shout out. Because some of the team 11 problems can be sorted out or have to be sorted out by the coach. So that is where the shout out is coming from. But the other, this is a bit of a stretch. Other weak point opportunity area that I would want to call is likely the ca- captaincy inexperience of Akshar Patel, if I could put it that way. He's a solid player. He's the premier
Yeah.
all rounder going around in T20 cricket, no questions about it. I just don't know or fully trust the leader inside of sort of Akshar Patel. Does he have the voice to sort of command the attention and sort of make the right calls? Of course, he's going to have KL's help. He's going to have a coach's help. But in like crunch and clutch games where bringing the right option, right bowling option, or making the right field changes becomes that difference between winning and losing. I would, of course, the cricket enthusiast in me want him to do well, but that probably begs more question from my side than anything else. That would probably be one thing that I would want to pose as an weakness or an opportunity area for them.
Okay. Perfect. So yeah, I mean that's actually a great call out, and it is only the second year for him, and it'll probably last year
Get better,
maybe from a point of strength they should have qualified in the top four. They just fell off dramatically. It showed a little
correct
bit of inexperience on his end as well. So it'll be interesting how he does this year. So that's gonna be key. Yeah, I mean in terms of the 11, yeah, I mean they're pretty much decided on what it's gonna be. But obviously there are so many. The exact
options.
opposite of where Mumbai had 8 players nailed on, Delhi that way does it. Delhi probably has 4 players or 5 players nailed on. So that way it gives a lot of option for chopping and changing. And if they happen to start off with if they hit a jackpot where they hit the best
The
combination,
right combination, yes.
then it's sort of the sky's the limit, right? So like from there, like do you have any, like in terms of strengths and weaknesses? Let me start from there. Do you want to begin off or do you want me to go first?
No, go for it. It's your dark horse team. I'm sure,
Yeah, so
sure you have.
honestly, this is the first team where I'm gonna go the opposite way of what I've called a strength, a weakness for the other teams. The spin department is actually their strength because I feel in Akshar Patel, a Kuldeep Yadav, and a Vipraj Nigam, if they get going as a package,
Mhm,
they have everything. They have a controlling spinner, they have a wicket taking spinner, they have a like a Chinaman, they have pretty much the spectrum covered. So with that, if used correctly, if they are, I mean, the one glitch with that bowling attack is that their home ground is not conducive to spinners. It's like a really tiny ground where any miss hits go for sixes. But on such a ground, if a bowling unit is experienced and how do I say pedigreed as theirs, then that can be the difference between a team conceding 200, 250 odd on that ground versus them defending a 200 total on that ground. So that's why I'm gonna list that as a big strength of this team because hey man, Akshar Patel, like he's shown in the World Cup, the game that we dropped him, we lost. The kind of spinner that he is. You have a like a Kuldeep Yadav who's a perennial wicket taker, and now he's added so many other variations to his bow. And Vipraj Nigam, see, whatever we saw of him last year, brilliant. It's going to be obviously interesting how he does in the second year, whether people have figured him out or
mhm.
not. But yeah, as a package, they already have to. So I think it's going to be good. So, yeah, your turn.
No, great call. For me, I think the strength is the fact that they are almost well-rounded, without any. Of course, they have KL, they have Stark as superstar. Kuldeep is definitely a superstar in himself, and Akshar is sort of the shining armor or the anchor in the team. I would say they're just well-rounded overall. That is definitely their biggest plus. They were one of the very shrewd teams, I would say, in the last auction. They bought brilliant players, so that would definitely help them and come a long way. Um, if I were to nitpick, I would say probably bowling overall. I know you called out spin as their strength, but then the fact that the Delhi Firozshah Kotla is not really very conducive for spin. I think seam department can be a bit wanting. Depends on their combination. Stark again not
Uh,
getting any old, but seems to be in his
just
prime ever so forever.
is it still called Firosha Kotla or is it Arun Jaitley Stadium?
Oh, is it? Wow. I need to get my record updated then.
No worries. I'm just asking. Yeah, yeah, go for it. Go for it. Please, please. Sorry to cut you off.
No, all good. So I think that is what I would flag as an opportunity area. Their death bowling in Natarajan and Mukesh Chaudhary, or Mukesh
Mukesh
Kumar, I
Kumar.
would say, is solid. But you have them or want to have them come good consistently. Can they do it? Beg some question. Lungisani Ngidi has some brilliant slower ones, but outside of that, I don't really think he offers much.
Yeah.
uh, Tusmancha Chamira again, not like a world class name. So uh, if the test comes to push comes to shove, and this team is tested, I feel bowling might be an area where they might be a bit wanted or a bit lacking. Uh, Again, as I said, I'm definitely nitpicking here. This is a push call, but maybe an area that that they need to sort of take care of.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean that's a fair call in the sense that yeah, there seems to be experience, but there are definitely like question marks over a lot of players in their bowling. Yeah, I mean that's a great call. I would say in terms of this team is such that as I said earlier, right? If they land on their best combination, everything is a strength. If they manage to somehow get into a bad combination up top in the beginning, then the amount of options that they have itself becomes a weakness for them because you have Karun who can open, who can play number 3. You have Samir Rizvi who can finish, who can play middle order as well. You have a Tristan Stubbs who has transformed into a middle order player but has traditionally been a finisher. You have a KL Rahul again who can play all around. You have two overseas opening options in Patum Nisanka and Ben Duckett, while you have an Indian opening option with Abhishek Porel and Prithvi Shaw. In terms of bowling, you have Natarajan, Mukesh, Akib Naib. At the same time, you have overseas options in Mitchell Stark, Lungisan Ngidi. See, pretty much every department there is an Indian equivalent and an overseas equivalent. So I am going to actually not pick one department, but actually the fact that they have so many options as the weakness of this team, because they've traditionally showed that they've not managed to land at the right combination consistently. So yeah, I mean that's gonna be one. But yeah, what do you think are the chances of top four? This is gonna be a very tricky conversation to have.
Tricky conversation to have for sure. I think they'll put up a good fight. I feel they have good chances of finishing top four. Likely in the mix to finish fourth, I would say. Third could be a stretch. Fourth, they should definitely one up on their last year's form and run. So I sort of have them as my. I mean, you rightly summed it up. That they're dark horses overall, but they definitely. But I'm expecting them to sort of qualify for the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they will be fighting with RCB for that final, probably the third and fourth spot in the playoffs, because they
Hmm.
both have sort of similar situations where they don't have like, not in terms of team combinations, they have different problems, but in the similar situation of you don't know what kind of team is going to turn up.
Yep.
So yeah, now actually this time I want to take the first stab at who I think will be potentially their standout player.
Go for it.
um, Honestly, like I've already mentioned his name, but I want to call out again. I'm gonna look out at Vipraj Nikam, because the Indian team currently, I mean IPL and the Indian team at a large, is looking for a wicket taking all rounder who can be that. How do I say? We have those questions where can you play Kuldeep and Varun together while having Aksar or Jadeja in the team? That never ends in Kuldeep's favor or Varun's favor either ways, because both of them don't bat. I feel like Vipraj Nigam has the ability to bat, to be being a leg spinner inherently they become wicket taking options, and he's a great fielder. So like as and he's what 1920 something. So as a combination, if he has a good year here, he can actually be that, like, which is very surprising for me to say, but he could be that one ingredient which India doesn't have, because pretty much I think India has everything else at this point. So that, and this team that we are like kind of forming, right? He is that, because if you think about it, every other team, like honest, not every other team, but Punjab's biggest strength was their all rounders. Delhi has only one all rounder in a certain Akshar Patel. Mitchell Stark, I won't say is an all rounder. They don't have pretty much any other all rounders. Akib Naib Dar is an all rounder, but I mean unproven, untested. We don't know
Sure.
what player is gonna turn up. So Vipraj Nigam has shown he can be an all rounder, and if he is that, he can actually be a brilliant bridge between the middle order and the tail. So I feel, and again, right, last year he had a great year, so I'm really looking forward to see how he turns up and how he matures in the second year of IPL. Yeah, so he's my pick.
Great call. As I've been calling it out, you sort of continue to amaze me with the truly underrated or wonder kid potential players pick in here. I'm gonna go a bit left field as well here in terms of what I pick, and of course, going to slightly deviate from the earlier picks I've had. I had two names in mind here as well, but as usual, I'm sort of ruling out one because of the less likelihood of him playing. Um, I'm gonna pick Nitish Rana. I believe he definitely slots in the middle order or number three position as I see him. He's had pretty, I would say, decent seasons with KKR before, overall. And then Rajasthan, he played one blinder of a knock against CSK last year. But overall, we've never seen him do well consistently. He's been like a solid player, but I really want him to see. be and become that sort of midfield anchor for Delhi. Also solves the problem, elevates or promotes scale order into opening. You don't want KL anywhere else in the team. So I think he's a good plug or fix in this team that sort of helps settle the other team and also establishes them as a solid force. So my pick would be Nitish Rana.
Wow, honestly, I completely forgot about him. That's actually a very, very good pick because, yeah, that is a position they've struggled with last year. So, like, if he has a great season, perfect, perfect, perfectly put. Who was your other pick?
My other pick was going to be Prithvi Shaw, just because of the raw potential he continues to have. I mean, he could still have a good series, good tournament, provided he plays. He's definitely a bona fide opener. I don't see him slot anywhere else.
Yep.
Given the form, KL is automatic pick, and given the form of Patun Nisanka, he just scored 100 in this World Cup. I think they are
Australia.
automatic starters. For the fun of it, I would have wanted Ben Duckett to start, left right combination, pretty dashing all rounder, sorry, opening batter. But that is highly unlikely. So, given Padam Nisanka, and KL are going to slot open, that leaves very little for Prithvi Shaw.
Australia.
So, he would have been my choice otherwise. But given how bleak his chances of are for playing overall, made me reconsider.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair call, and that's a very good call, right? Because yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. I'm actually really gonna be looking out for this team, this IPL, to see like what they do because they're very exciting as a team.
Oh, they are absolutely. I still can't forget the first game of last year's IPL, the chase that Ashutosh Sharma and Vipraj Nigam led against
Yep.
LSG. That was the first game of IPL. I don't
Yep.
know last year,
I
but it definitely was the first game for Delhi and
Yeah.
Lucknow. Man, what a game! So
Yeah.
so crazy, crazy start.
An unbelievable game, indeed, indeed. Hopefully, we can get more of that this year. So yeah, I mean, we're I guess halfway through the teams in the IPL. Now we would potentially be talking about the teams that finished in the bottom half last year, but I feel there are some really heavy hitters in that bottom half, right?
Mhm. Absolutely. It's going to be interesting, difficult, challenging to sort of make a case for this team as to why they would not finish in the bottom half again. Some teams have had good players. Some teams still, have more questions and, sort of opportunities to solve for. I would say stay tuned with us. We are as excited and, looking forward to go through them in the coming episodes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you guys, and see you in the next episode.